I hit go live. And maybe Zoom is maybe not the best way of doing this because it has this weird countdown thing that's not really a countdown, and I can't quite tell if we are live or not, but I'm guessing we are. If we're live on YouTube, hello. We have been doing these calls on Monday at 6. For the new year, we're switching it up for 2020. We are live because I'm hearing a lot.
Yeah, I just checked it too. We're good.
We've been doing these calls live on different Facebook groups, on our own Facebook group, mostly. Then we switched it over to Zoom. Now we're trying it on YouTube. So, hello. These calls will be consistently on YouTube if we can figure this thing out at 5 o'clock moving forward. So if you're here or you're subscribed to us on YouTube, we'd love to have you join us on these calls. We want to make these calls a lot more interactive. Tonight, I think we have just information that we want to get out there, but moving forward, we want these to be a lot more interactive.
And just to clarify, that's 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But the beauty of YouTube, what we're hoping is that the calls will actually be archived over there, unlike some other platforms that we've used, where they either just disappear or are extremely hard to find even for us. So that's why we're pushing it over to YouTube now, just so we can have an archive to point people back to shows that we thought were good or clip things from them.
Yeah, and I think it'll be easier to timestamp so that when we do go back through and I take the time to like, oh, we talked about this topic here and this topic here, I can actually timestamp them and you can click on that and it'll jump you to the time. But
that's our hope.
I'm just excited that this actually worked because we've been trying to push things over to Zoom and they just haven't quite worked out. But 2020 is here. Are you ready to hit the ground running? We're 6 days in. Tonight, I want to talk about kind of the two biggest things that have helped us grow and scale our business. Before I get too deep into this, my name is Steven. This is my brother, Nathaniel. I can't ever remember which side he's on. Together, we started WingMan University, this channel. We really started to help other people go further faster, learning from our mistakes, taking our knowledge that we've learned and give it to the community to help you guys grow your print-on-demand business. If you have not subscribed, please subscribe. We are trying to work on our consistency. We have new videos coming out daily. We cover different platforms, different products, different selling strategies, the different tools that we're using, all to kind of help you guys grow your print-on-demand business.
Yes, and like true wingmen, like Steven said, our goal is to come alongside you exactly where you're at in your business and hopefully offer some helpful advice or at least tell you the lessons that we've learned along the way, the mistakes that we've made. We don't want you to make them, so that's why we're doing this. It's kind of a catalog of all the mistakes that we've made if you go back and watch any of our older content, and that's what we want to do, keep moving as we're moving forward. It's just the lessons that we're learning as we're trying out new things and in new industries with new platforms, all the new things that we are learning and trying to understand. We just want to make that information available to you guys, and we appreciate you watching us, especially those of you who have been watching us for the few years that we've been doing this now. We're excited to start a new year and hopefully do a better job of being a little bit more organized with this show and having this content be still as consistent and valuable to you as we're trying to make this a community conversation, not just me and Steven talking to you guys through webcams, but actually getting interaction with the chat and just throughout the week being able to conversate with you guys, which is something we enjoy doing and makes this business feel not so lonely, which it can be very lonely at times when you're just up late working on something. You're like, I am the only one going through this right now. And then you reach out to your community like, oh yeah, no, it's not just me. There are still people up at 2 a.m. doing the same thing that I'm doing. So, it's a good feeling. And I think it just helps us all stay motivated, encouraged, and keep moving forward as we are doing. So, you ready for me to jump into the next thing?
Yeah, we can start.
Kind of talk. Okay.
We teased a little bit about the two pillars. Might as well just jump right into it.
Yeah, so the two pillars of success, at least the two pillars that we're defining that we've built our success on, is taking action and being consistent. And those two can go together very well. And they both kind of feed into each other. Taking action, daily can help you be consistent. And if your goal is consistency, usually you have to take action. So they kind of are interwoven there. But I wanted to share a little bit of my experience, why those two things are so important to me. Last year, I feel like I had like a 2-3 month period where I was like preaching either one of those two things, just as like, I can't believe how, far we've come, how much we've learned. And then like really the lessons of looking back, and it was like, why I was able to do that. Oh yeah, just because I was taking action daily, and I refused not to take action, even if I didn't quite know what I was doing, at least like asking somebody or calling a friend and just be like, hey, I need to do something today. What do you advise? And then again, with the consistency, it was just like, I'm just going to do this daily. Like, I don't exactly know what that means. Some months are better than others where we have our plan all scheduled out and just like, all right, we got our work, we're going to go do it. Other months, it's just, we are calling each other like every hour, like, what do I do now? Let's figure this thing out. So my personal experience with those things started in 2016, really when we started this print-on-demand journey. And it was just me. I was working at a screen printing company at the time, and I wanted to do something different with the same skill set. And so I just had to start taking action. So I heard about print on demand. I didn't quite know like where to start or what that meant or the skills exactly that you needed to do that thing. But I was like, I can make designs. Let me just start making designs. Then we'll figure out, how to put them on t-shirts, how that whole process works, other apparel, all the good things that we now know today. It all started with me just being like, I know design. Let me just start making a bunch of designs and see what I can do with them. And so that was the taking action part. And then to feed into that was consistency, where I was just like, getting frustrated, not knowing exactly how to use these designs that I was making, but I was like, I'm not going to stop. I'm going to continue using my skill set and being consistent with that, making those designs daily. And as I can do that, then I'll learn more and more about this business, because I understand that a big part of it is the actual images that you're selling, which it is a big part, but there is so much more to this business that you have to know and understand in order to make this thing work smoothly. And so at least if you can have that thing that you're doing consistently as you're learning new things, you just can keep moving forward and not feel every day is such a struggle.
I guess it's the skills that you have to learn to be able to have success. I don't think you can ever have everything dialed in before you start. And I think that's why we really love print on demand, because you can just take action almost tonight and get listings up and then see what's working, what are things you have to work on. We have a lot of questions that are getting asked to us to say, is it better to do X or Y or Z, or should I start over on this platform? Should I start over here? And I know it might not be the most helpful thing, but we always say just like do both or pick one and go do it and then see what comes back. Like let the market dictate what you should be doing. But really, the first thing you need to be doing is taking action and being able to find that consistency. That I think is the, like, I don't know about golden handcuffs or the golden egg, but that's like the core principle that we have built almost every business aspect that we have off of. And print on demand, I just think, is the greatest place to start, because you can take action. It doesn't cost you any money, time, energy, and effort, but you can turn that small amount of work into a large scaling business. I didn't mean to cut you off, brother. I just wanted to drive that point home of take action, learn the skills that you need through taking action. It might seem backwards, like the rooster or the egg or the chicken, but take action. Whichever one you feel is first, go after that and do that one. Learn the skills as you are earning money.
Even for me working with Steven, sometimes it's difficult getting that answer. You're like, I'm going to ask this question. I know what you're going to say, but I just need to ask it still. But the reason I think both of us now answer questions like that is because we're not like gurus. We can't have any ball that we can see into the future or any secret sauce that we can tell you, like, you do these exact things and then you'll have the exact business that you want. A lot of this from our own experience is trial and error. And so we're not trying to tell you that we can help you avoid trial and error, because that's what we build our business on. But what we can do is while you're in the trial portion, then you can talk to us and we can help either give you new ideas for things to try, or tell you some things to avoid that we have done and it ended up hurting us, or lessons that we learned. But it's very hard, especially because of our hope for you. It's not to tell you like this is the business you need. It's again to be wingman and tell you, okay, here are some things you can try. You figure out which one best fits you, your personal skill sets, your likes, your dislikes, and then you can make the more educated decision based on what your experience was. And so then we want to just help further you along that direction. So again, we're not even saying that print on demand is the one thing you have to do. We're just saying like this is a great place to start if you don't know where to start, because what Stephen said, for little to no money you can start doing this thing right now and figure out is this what you like to do? What parts do you like to do? Do you just want to design? Then we can help you figure out other industries or other ways that you can use just design. But print on demand is a good place for that. Or there's other skill sets that you have, or do you just like doing interacting with people, or it kind of gives you some baseline of understanding of what you want to do here on the internet. So those are good things. I did want to wrap up my story though of just I said I started
far left field.
Yeah, it was a good point. But I started in 2016 with just trying to figure out print on demand, and now that we're here in 2020, I think January is always a good time of year to try new things, as Q4 is really that like big rush that we're working up to. So in January we kind of have some downtime, some time to start figuring out those new things. And so for me this year, it's going to be a lot of expanding our business, and mostly that's going to be on the backbone of Shopify, as that's allowing us to expand in quite a few different ways, and that are exciting to both me and Stephen. But it's even more exciting that we have people that are willing to partner with us in this expansion. So some of the things that I just wrote down that I'm excited about this year is actually doing like proper clothing lines, where we're not just doing like one product or several products all with the same image, but actual like thinking about full outfits that people might wear with one idea that would combine all that, certain colors that would work, all the logos that would go with that. That's something I'm personally looking forward to, just getting more into the design world of apparel. Other things that I'm maybe not so excited about, but that I'm happy that we're expanding into, is doing more things with like marketing and customer service, and actually designing websites that all this stuff is going to live on, and managing the social medias. Like there's just so much that's going to go into this now that we have started using Shopify, kind of moving away from Amazon, which again, a great platform that covers a lot of those things for you, so you don't have to do them, which is good. But as we're expanding our business, those are things that we want to control and try to understand. That way we can interact with customers more one-on-one, make something more customized for our clients that we're working with, and just an overall better experience. And I think there's a lot more opportunity there. So I am very excited about that. But to bring this all back to the two pillars, those two pillars are still kind of my guiding light for finding how I'm going to make all those things happen. I don't have, this very clear roadmap of like, I just do these things and then 2021, I'll be exactly where I want to be. It's like, okay, I'm going to be consistent and I'm going to keep taking action, and then I will eventually be where I want to be. At least I hope. It might be 2021, it might be 2022, but we'll see, as long as I'm being consistent and taking action. So take a sip of water real quick.
Sorry, I'm trying to manage multiple chats.
You're good. I just wanted to, put that out there, as that's kind of what we're going to be talking about tonight. I think Stephen has some stuff he's going to be sharing on that, but I like to give practical advice. That's one of my goals for this year, is to make sure that I'm giving people actionable steps that they're taking. So it's hard to do on, a mass like this, which is why we like doing smaller calls and talking to people one-on-one. But something to think about, as me and Stephen, again, have just been reflecting on the last couple of years of, things that we've done that have helped us find success, or at least that we think has helped us find success, that we've told other people and it's helped them find success. And it's kind of 3 steps, maybe 2 steps to think about. So specifically for the print on demand business, if you're just starting out, or even if you're just starting out on a new platform, the best thing you can do is just make that listing. So there can be a lot of like stress or emotional connection that might be stopping you. That was something that I personally battled with, or just like fear, or people telling you not to do it or whatever. But just making that first listing so you actually understand like the mechanics of how things work is the first thing you can do to take action. And then the being consistent part of that is the next thing, where we want you to make 100 listings. That might sound overwhelming at, when you're just hearing it blunt like that. But we really think there's something magical about that 100 number of listings for print on demand. Something just starts to click, or you've put enough things out there in enough different varieties that customers are starting to see it. But it really is a quantity game in that like phase one of print on demand of just, okay, now I know how to do this thing, let's do it a bunch. So I just start to understand better, faster, more higher quality, ways of doing these listings. We just think, 100 is a very good benchmark, and we've put that challenge out there last year, and we've seen a lot of people have success of just like, they've been following us for 2 or 3 years, and they weren't just being as consistent as they may, I don't want to say should have, but they could have. And so we told them, or we challenged them with making 100 listings, and then, they started seeing success and more sales come in from that. We're like, okay, there's something special about this number 100, even if that's the benchmark, even if you don't hit it before you start having sales. We're not saying like you hit 100, then you start having sales, but that's kind of the benchmark we want you guys to aim for, is that 100.
We've helped, sorry, to step on that point. We have helped a lot of people get started with POD, and it seems like Nathaniel said, that's the magic number. If you want to see this progress or this process in progress, I helped my mother, not knowing anything about KDP, never having a KDP account, helping us occasionally on our business, so she wasn't like completely blind to selling online, but never making a listing, having difficulties even like with just basic computer skills, going from zero, setting up an account, starting an account, getting the listing up, getting over 100 listings up, having success. Now she's having consistent sales, and it's a very part-time business for her. She wanted to travel a lot. She's got grandkids. She wants to see Nathaniel in Atlanta. She just went and saw him. That was a custom-built business for her that I wanted to help her start. But that process of, like Nathaniel said, getting that first listing up is a very stressful thing. It almost seems like impossible. But then when you kind of do it and get over it, it's like, oh, I can do that. Mm-hmm. Then you get hit with 100 and you go like, oh my God, I'll never. It was interesting for me helping my mother to see her kind of go through that emotional roller coaster. You could see on those calls, like she gets super frustrated. I get super frustrated. We kind of like, I don't know about argue a little bit, but we bicker back and forth. And I didn't edit those videos up, even though it was painful for me to just release those raw. But I think it's very beneficial for anybody starting this journey to watch that progress. It is a long, drawn out series. We did it over 2 months. I think we were going live almost every day for a week or two when she was having the most trouble of just like getting listing up. But that experience, if you can see somebody else struggle and get over it, I think will help more people. We've gotten a ton of great response from that playlist. I've linked it down in the description, hopefully. If not, after this video is over, I'll put it in the description. But I think if you're struggling and you want to get started, watch that series. It should, I don't know about convince you, but I think anybody can do this at any level. It is a struggle at times, and that's why we started this community, is to help people, because we want to see you go faster, farther than us. It shouldn't take you, like me and Nathaniel, months to make a listing because we just don't know what we're doing, and just pull the trigger and realizing like, oh, you can just get listings up and there's no drawback other than the time, energy, effort I put into it. I think if you want to touch on this, Nathaniel, when you got started, like you thought that art like represented you. If you want to just touch on that a little bit.
Yeah, that's a little bit what I was saying, like the emotional struggle that I had with it, coming from a world where, the art that I was putting out, like I had my name on it, like it represented the company that I was working for, where it's like, people would ask, where are you getting that shirt? And I would see people in, the town that I was living in, which is St. Petersburg, like I'd see people wearing my designs and be like, okay, like this is something that I want to represent me, something I want to be proud of. That was just a very exciting thing. And then selling online, I had that same kind of feeling, but it's not the same, especially on Amazon's marketplace. Like they're not looking for super high quality art most of the time. And t-shirts usually isn't a great place for that anyways. Usually you're looking for bold, clean, and simple things. And once that like clicked in my head, where it's not like, okay, this is going in my portfolio, like it has to be the top of the line because if I ever want a job in future, like this is the thing I'm pointing at. It's more of like, okay, I'm making something that someone's either going to like laugh at or giggle at for like 5 seconds and then they're going to move on with their day. Like it's not that serious. So kind of getting over that hurdle for myself, it was just like, you got to change your mindset a lot. to kind of fit what you're doing. Like realize, okay, I'm selling t-shirts through Amazon, online to people who are just going to like giggle at it, who probably see it, this little like 2-inch thumbnail on their computer screens. They think that's funny. They're going to buy it, wear it a couple of times, and whatever. So it's just a different mindset you've got to get into. But I will get back to those benchmarks and I'll let you
Sorry,
talk.
I keep on pulling you off of that.
Yeah, I want to get to where you can talk. So the benchmarks, so the first one is making that first listing. The second thing is making 100 listings. And the third thing is looking for that sale. If you've made over 100 listings, then, auditing your work that you've done, that's something that we've provided for people at certain periods of time. But you can also do it yourself. Just look at all those listings, see what you're doing that might be different than other people who are having success, and try to make those tweaks yourself as you're moving forward. And so even along the way of making those 100 listings, that's something you can be doing. And we kind of call that the 1% better. Like when you're in that mode of, okay, I've got this thing locked in, I'm just trying to make these listings or artwork or whatever you're doing, just trying to get 1% better. Not, I'm going to go from making stick figures to now making like, designs or paintings that I want to like hang up in my house.
Van Gogh.
Just trying to 1% get better at things is a much more realistic way to make that change over a longer period of time. So something that I wanted to say to people who have been watching us for a while, they might have heard all of the things that we just said. Kind of the twist that I put on it for myself this year, and something I want to challenge you guys with is, again, we're in January right now. So now is a great time to learn that next thing, whether it's the next platform that you want to go after, or whatever outlet that it is out there, whether you want to start marketing through social media or using Shopify like we are, you can kind of apply these same benchmarks to that thing. So even YouTube, you can see it on our YouTube channel if you go back and look at it. It wasn't that long ago where we started making posts more regularly, and that just started with the first video. We were like, okay, we don't know what we're doing here. It was probably clipped up from something old that we did, and then we're like, okay, we should probably record things specifically for this platform, but using that same 3 benchmarks, of just do that first thing. And then after you've done one and kind of understand the mechanics again of how to get it there, then just start repeating that process. And again, we're going to put that number 100 on it. Something that we passed last year was making 100 videos. So now that we have a better grasp on it, and all the while trying to get 1% better at those things. And then, looking for that metric of success. I didn't quite know what to put here. Like on YouTube, we're not looking for like one sale. I don't really know what like success on YouTube looks like. Maybe Steven has a better idea. But I still very much so feel in that process of like, let's keep making these things to figure out. We were just talking about this, like our style of videos and how we can communicate with our community and stuff that you guys are going to enjoy watching. So it's not just, again, me and Steven here talking to each other. We want to make sure that, what we're doing here on YouTube is making an impact, and that we're spending our time wisely, but that we're also valuing your time as you guys are the ones watching this stuff and making all of this worth it. So you can use those same benchmarks kind of regardless of what you're doing, especially here in the new year, as you probably, or I would suggest learning new things in January, as it's a great time for that.
Yeah, I would say that YouTube is interesting. I don't know if we have this is for sure what we want to do. We want to hit this metric and turn it into this. I just know that we make a lot of videos and we like helping people through videos. YouTube seems like a much better fit for us. We've put videos all over the internet and people will ask about them and we go, I don't even remember where it's at. So it's just a better way for us to organize. It's kind of how it started. Then as we put more and more videos in there, we saw that more people were gravitating towards that and getting the feedback on there and saying, hey, this video, and then could send us the link and I go, oh yes, this is here, this timestamp, check this out. It was just an easier way for us to help more people. Now that 2020 is here, I want to see if we can be consistent on this platform. You can check out our YouTube channel and see, hey, they started that thing kind of a year ago. We kind of put up a few videos. It was a placeholder for other things that we were doing. We didn't really take it seriously until, I would say, November. Then November, you can see, oh, they started putting out videos very consistently and regularly. Now for July, something that I want to try is, can we put videos out daily? How much energy, effort, work does that take to do that? That's kind of our MO. We like to, I don't want to be like super over competitive with this, but like outwork our competition. I was going to say dominate, but that's a little aggressive. We like to outwork our competition. So if you look at us and the space that we're in the business ecom space. We think we're kind of edging out a niche with the print on demand, because that's kind of what we built our business on. That's what we're leaning very heavily into. We see other people putting up videos once a week, once or twice a week. We're trying to do daily just because we like to outwork them. I want to see the market and see what you guys like. Do you like these shorter videos? Do we like the longer videos? And just being able to get into the analytics is something that I really enjoy. I think that's why people say, oh, you're really good with keywords, you're really good with SEO. It's just the data, pulling all that data, being able to filter it and then use it is kind of what I think my skill and gift is. But I just want to use that as an example. If you are thinking about getting started or can't quite pull the trigger on something, just have a hair trigger. Go back and watch some of our older videos and be like, ooh, those are not good. And some of our very old videos that we can't even find anymore are 10 times worse. There is no green screen. There is no background. We look both homeless. We look like we just robbed somebody. It's all bad. We both were not sitting up. My mom was walking back and forth in front of the camera. Like, it was just not good. So just know that you start somewhere and get better. This 1% idea that Nathaniel, I don't know about came up with, but he really latched onto is something that we really want to build on top of in 2020. Start somewhere, take action through consistency. That's where the quality will come. You can look at our videos and our channel now. I can almost bet January, February, March, it's going to be quantity over quality. The quality, I think, will get better, but it's not till after like we see what goes out, look at what's coming back. Okay, they really like when they do the black and white. They really like when they jump right into it. They really like when we express what the video is about in the first 10 seconds. Like, we're just testing a lot of those things. As soon as we kind of see the metrics, then we'll be able to go, okay, these are higher quality videos. Let's focus our efforts on this. Same reason I think POD is an amazing way to start. Even if you don't really know what you're doing, start putting things up. You will find your style and be able to go, this is what customers like. I can lean into this. I know when people start, they feel like that defines them. But I hope Nathaniel's story tells you it doesn't have to. Like, your face is not right next to your product. You're making that product for a customer. Just, I don't know if there's like a detachment idea, but just focus in on, you're making these for the customer. Are you serving that customer? Then you'll start selling products. If you're not, then what's going on to help you? Is it better quality keywords? Is it better quality art? Is it a different market that you should be going after? Is it too saturated in that niche? Do you need to niche down? Those are all things I think that you build up skills for to help you sell more. I didn't mean to cut you off, brother. Sorry.
Yeah, I think once you start focusing on that 100, it's hard to just like be so focused in on like, this thing has to represent me. Like, if we're truly trying to build a business and get those things out there, then you have to kind of give up some of that, I don't know, the emotion that goes with it. Like, every time you're creating something, like, this is the biggest thing that I've created because it's the first thing or it's the second thing. Like, once you get to like 999, like 1,000, it's just like, I made another design, I put it up. Like, it doesn't hold that same weight as like, this is the most important thing I've ever made. And that's something we're still learning on YouTube. I mean, the first couple of videos we put out, I think we like both watched them a couple times. I had a few different edits and all of that. And now it's just like, I'll watch it or I'll make it and edit it, and you might watch it before it goes up, but like, that thing's going up because we trust our process. We have this process in place and we kind of know what we're doing at this point.
Yeah, there's like an overbake. You looked at it, I looked at it, we edited it. Now it's time for it to go up and let the market decide what's good or bad. And then the next video we make, we'll make the adjustments. So we're not like over tweaking something and it just never gets released. We know now that video has to go out every day. So there is no like, make it perfect. It's how can we do this better, faster to get these videos up consistently and work on the quality.
Yeah, and we're talking a lot about YouTube, but we have other systems in place that allow us to have a business still. Like, the YouTube is not the only thing that we have going on. It's just the thing right now that we're tweaking the most. So as we have our other businesses and the meetings and all that stuff, this is that new thing that we're learning. This is the conversations that me and Steven are having a lot until we like lock in our process.
Yes.
Yeah, and we feel like we have this thing. Okay, this is what it takes to run a YouTube channel the way that we personally want to run it. That's going to fit Steven's skill set, my skill set, and reach the community the way we want to. So that's why we keep telling you guys about the different things that we've got going on, the videos that we're trying out. That's all, very tactful. And the way that we've basically built our print on demand business, that's why we keep pointing to it, because it's like, now you guys can see exactly what we're doing. This video that we're putting up is not like getting us direct sales, so we're not like scared to be like, okay, this is the thing that we're banking on. So it's exciting for us to have a platform like this where you guys can go and see, even from the quality of the videos to the consistency of the videos. If you want to look at the descriptions, like all of these things that we're trying to get better, replying to more people in the comments, like all of that stuff is just our 1% better now that we're kind of chugging along. We understand what it takes to make a YouTube video, but we're just trying to perfect it. So you can take that same logic, those same lessons that we're learning with YouTube and that we did with print on demand, and kind of apply it to whatever you're personally going through. But we do want to, again, remind you that this is an open conversation. So if you guys have questions, if you want our advice on something, if you'd like to sit down and have a one-on-one, we're going to work on putting together a calendar again, now that we're in January, of when we can do that. It might not be this month because we have a lot of planning calls and things going on, but me and Stephen will figure it out, because that's something we both enjoy doing, is getting to talk with you guys.
Yeah, I guess just clarify, we normally do free 20-minute calls to touch base with our community, help you guys at where you're at, the questions and the problems that you're having. I don't want to assume like everybody watching this knows exactly what we do. So we attempt to do a few days. We try to really do a week and try to give as much time as possible. It's sometimes difficult, like Nathaniel said, especially in January, since we're evolving our business and we're taking on a lot more responsibilities and we're working with a lot more people. So this month is going to be very difficult to kind of separate any time to do these 20-minute calls. But next month, we kind of want to get back into the groove of doing these free 20-minute calls just to help you guys. Where are you at? What are you stuck with? And just making sure we still have our finger on the pulse of this POD business as we grow and scale our business. We don't want to forget what it was like to start. We like to be in that helping mode. And that's kind of what this channel is for, is just what content can we help you guys with? This lesson took us 8 months to learn. We could just tell you to speed up your time. It might take a lot of testing on your end, but it's not something that you have to struggle with and go, oh my God, I'm putting up white shirts all the time on Amazon and none of them are selling. And go, oh, black shirts are 80% of our sales. Oh, if I would have known that information, I wouldn't have spent that much time testing out these white shirts. Just small things like that, especially with the tools. There's tools that I think are really good. There's tools that I think are really good and very expensive that might not be worth it. And just like at what point should you be putting these things and adding them to your business? I think start with merch, KDP. Those are two great free platforms that you get to tap into Amazon's marketplace. Those are great places to start. Once you start building and growing and understanding your system, your process, how you can get art, listings, keywords, build your business, then moving away from Amazon, I think, is the best way to actually scale a sustainable business. And that's what we're in the midst of. We've done it with other things, but not strictly POD. And that's what our attempt is now, is to do that.
Yeah, so lots of learning going on in 2020, but I think we're at a good point to call this before we go down our next rabbit trail. So we hope that you guys enjoyed watching us over here on YouTube, or if you're still on Zoom with us, we appreciate that as well. These calls will be every Monday at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time now, so just an hour earlier than they were last year, as daylight saving time and other things going on our Monday nights now. So that's when we're going to be doing these calls, and we just hope that you enjoy what we have coming up. And if you want a little bit of a preview of what we have coming up, you can look in the description of this on YouTube and see some of the playlists that we've put together in last year, and some of the content that we plan on continuing doing in 2020, of just putting together things like what Stephen was talking about with my mom, where he's working with somebody who's brand new to this thing and working on you get to see kind of those beginning days of figuring out those mechanics,
the frustrations.
Yeah, that first benchmark of, okay, let's make one. You get to see that on camera, which I think is very interesting. I had to skip through the one with my mom because I was like, cringe. But now that he's done it with multiple people and going back and watching those videos, there's something magical about watching someone have so many aha moments back to back, where they're just like, oh, I get this now. Yes, I can do this. It's not going to take me a month now to put up a book on KDP. It's going to be 2 hours. I've finally figured this thing out. And then
there were some times
start
where I was like, "You're
chugging
gonna be able
along.
to do 100 in a week," and she was like, "I'll never be able to do 100 in a week." And then she was like, "Oh, I can actually do that."
Yeah. It's just that understanding you have to do the process once to be able to see like how that's going to work moving forward, how you're going to scale that, like just wrap your head around it. Something that I'm saying in the Shopify videos that I'm shooting is just like you have to learn to speak the language of whatever you're doing. So whether that's KDP, Merch by Amazon, Shopify, whatever, there is a certain language that you have to speak to understand to communicate with your computer to get this thing made. So, yeah, again, just check out the description. We've got some content down there that we'd love for you to check out. But until next time, you got anything else?
That's it.
All right.
Thanks, guys, for
We
joining us.
appreciate you.
See you next week.
Bye, guys.